Hello, trading is closed on March 19th, 2019. We'll go over our calls. We said unless we gapped over this high, lower prices would print. So we gapped over the high, looked for the pattern with the early high. We said it wouldn't surprise me if prices close, it'll change. Well, I wasn't surprised. They closed down 0.37, but of course that's not really a prediction. When you place a trade, you can say, I want to buy or I want to sell. There's no place to place a trade that says I'm not going to be surprised if this happens, but at least I wasn't surprised. From October, we get to cross this number off the list. Look at resistance right over the number. Only higher price is around 29.36, and that's where MEJT likes to leave failed targets. If I'm correct that the high of this moves in, I would not like to see that print. Tomorrow's pattern is the one with the early low. Tends to start out low and rally into the close. And unless there's a big drop in the first 1 to 2 hours, tends to be a day that closes up. But a big drop in the first 1 to 2 hours wouldn't surprise me, and we'll see why. Here is our ultimate sell. It's worked. MEJT says the drop is false. Gives us a target of 28.45.51. Most likely to print tomorrow. Don't forget, if this is near a major change in trend, MEJT almost always will leave a failed target. So I would be happier if this didn't print. Doesn't mean it won't. Tomorrow's Fed meeting, anything can happen, tends to lead to wild trading. Pretty tough for me to trade. I'm usually flat. If I do play at all, I usually use option spreads. At least I know what I can lose if I'm wrong. What's really negative about this pattern is we gapped up, hit a higher high, couldn't hold on to any of these highs. But what's really negative is we couldn't hold on to the lows at the close, couldn't even hold on to the prior highs. It's a rejection of these highs, and unless we invalidate it by gapping, which is quite likely since we have a positive indicator and this negative indicator, by gapping and taking this high out early. I really can't say it's impossible. There have been a number of other times on this rally where all we had to do was avoid such a gap, and we got the gap. So if we gap up, it's overcome the pattern. Otherwise, this reversal at the high is a very negative pattern if it isn't negated early. And if we gap under this low, and if a big drop in the first 1 to 2 hours, I suspect it'll seal the deal, but a lot depends on the close too. We keep trying to pick the highs here. We should have one at some point, although if it's an ABC, you can't be positive this high is going to hold because you could have an expanded flat, but for reasons based in large part on other people's work, I'd be happier if that held. No matter how high we go, we can always find some kind of Fibonacci relationship. Here's the one from today. So tomorrow's the pattern with the early low. We need to clear this early, ideally by gapping over it, or else lower prices print. If we undercut this low, especially if we gap under it, and hold it through the close, there's a very good chance this is the end of the up move. Certainly this is a rejection of the highs. They're within 2 trading days of my date, and that's the tolerance I give. So we have time. We have the pattern. We just have to see if it plays out. It hasn't played out a number of times before. There were other candidates that didn't work. This is a very good candidate for calling a top. We'll know more at tomorrow's close, and that's today's call.